Okay, we're live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and we're ready to go. Thank you, everybody. Hold on just a second here. Let's kick her off.
Okay, if I can bring this in house like this. By using a straight line angle, I can take 3 measurements around.
All right. Welcome to Studio 3 in Naperville, Illinois. Mr. Tim Morgan, COO, President, and Managing Director of Speakeasy Americas.
Good morning, everyone. I'm pretty proud to say with my friend here, we're with my friend here, Jerry Benani from Ford Motor Company, who's going to enlighten us on some new collision repair procedures and overviews and discuss some things happening at Ford. So why don't we dive right into it, Jerry?
You got it, Tim. Thank you for having me. I'll go ahead and hit the share screen button here. How's everybody doing today?
We're doing quite well since we got past the rain.
That's for sure.
It's been a heck of a wet start to the week, but nothing's going to bring us down today because we got a great speaker, great lineup, and I always love having Jerry on the line with us.
He always seems to bring us the latest in technology.
Can you guys see my screen okay?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm going to first go over, I'm Jerry Benani. I'm a senior engineer for paint and body damage repair at the Ford Motor Company. I just hit 26 years this past June, and it's been an exciting ride so far, so many more to come, I hope. I'm going to go over the 2021 F-150 and some of the past model F-150 and Super Duty as well. A little brief overview on the Mustang Mach-E. I'll talk about Ranger briefly, and then I'll go into the Bronco, which is very exciting stuff. So with that, let me go ahead and take it away here. And my slide's not advanced. There we go. So I'm going to go through a brief product overview. I'm going to focus a little more on the structural sides of things. I will go over the electronic features of the vehicles kind of in a high level, but then I'm going to talk about the collision repair support plan. Again, some of the information about these is available quite easily, but I'm going to give you a quick overview on some of the high level stuff as far as features and things. New truck for 2021, the F-150 offers a lot of great new innovations. As you look at it, there's a lot of exterior styling changes and updates to it. Naturally, you have the military-grade aluminum alloy body, and we have the heavy-duty frame as well. There's an all-new 3.5 power boost, full hybrid V6, and then, of course, the electric units are coming as well. We've got a new new interior work surface, maximum reclined seats, and with Sync 4 and many other electronic features, which I'll cover in detail here in just a moment. So there's a 12-inch digital instrument cluster productivity screen. It's a 12-inch center stack touchscreen, new front active air dam. We've got adaptive steering, standard on King, Ranch, Platinum, and Limited. And there's a number of other items that you can see here. Reverse braking assist, the Pro Power Onboard, which is actually an inverter and generator. This was helpful to people in Texas when the power went out. Believe it or not, they were running their houses from their truck. Naturally, Sync 4 is a new feature that's out with enhanced voice recognition, connected navigation, and Sirius XM 360L. The trailer reverse guidance is added to the Pro Trailer Backup Assist, and there's a wireless charging post for compatible smartphones. A lot of features as you look at the truck are looking to make the vehicle more versatile, drive smarter, working harder. And again, some of the features that you see on the screen here including some of the best as far as tailgate work surfaces and interior work surfaces, coupled with some of the dynamic powertrain options, and of course the suspension and braking things. You're looking at the basic lineup of XL, XLT, Lariat, King Ranch, Platinum, and Limited, similar to past models. Copilot 360 is standard on XLT and Lariat, and it's available on the XL. That includes some of the features you see to the right of this slide here, including Bliss, automatic high beams, lane keeping system, pre-collision warning assist, includes the automatic emergency braking system, post-collision braking, and there's a rear view camera with dynamic hitch assist, which is really, really cool and standard on all F-150s. You've got a lot of neat things available as far as in the upper models as well, such as the active drive assist prep unit, Ford Pass, and then you've got other items, as I mentioned earlier, the sync. Some of the powertrain items which we've covered here, I'll go over briefly. You can see the 5 liters available, as well as the 3.5 power boost, and the formerly available 2.7 EcoBoost and 3.5 EcoBoost as well. Some new colors, some new interior features and colors. Really a nice looking truck, beautiful skin, very, very good looking truck on overall. As we get into some of the technology, I'm going to pass through this rather quickly because I want to get to the meat and potatoes of structure repair. And as we look at the upcoming Mach-E, the Mach-E, as you see it, is a really dynamic vehicle. For 2021, this vehicle is all new, has a lot of great features, and I'm going to go into it in quick detail here in just a moment. Some of the basic models you see are the Premium, the First Edition, the Select, the California Route 1 Edition, and the GT models. You can see some of the features and some of the options that are available as you go, depending around the different models that are available here. LED lighting, 360-degree cameras. There's a lot of really neat features in this vehicle. It's a very fast vehicle too. I've had the pleasure of driving one, and I must say it's exciting. So here's some of the horsepower and ranges that you're seeing here. Targeted EPA estimated driving ranges over 210 in the all-wheel drive standard range, but over 300 in the rear-wheel drive extended range. And you can see, depending on the model, between base GT and GT performance, look at the 0 to 60 times, 3.8 seconds, 0 to 60 in 3.5 with the GT performance. When you're looking at some of the options that you're seeing here, you have the option between rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. Let me go on to the next one here. There's also a fast charge feature. This is, as you see on the screen here, quicker DC fast charge rates than all Tesla models and Jaguar I-Pace. Copilot 360 with highway assist is a feature. You're looking at with driver assist technologies, Bliss with cross traffic alert, traffic sign recognition, and road departure warning, as well as intelligent adaptive cruise control. ADAS module, of course, and you're looking at cross traffic alert with braking again, pre-collision assist intersection. As you're looking at that, it detects if a vehicle is coming into the intersection and offers braking assist in that situation. Front and reverse park aids, as well as reverse braking assist. The evasive steering assist, all these are part of the Copilot 360 technologies. It's an exciting vehicle with many, many features. My son, who's 22 and going to U of M now, looked at this vehicle and is just in awe at some of the features that they've got on it. There's an interior camera that monitors the driver's awareness based on head pose. So it determines if it thinks you should take a break, gives you active drive assist with hands-on mode or hands-off modes as well. Embedded modem with enhanced memory. Phone as a key. This is a new thing with Ford vehicles where the phone acts as a fob-free, no keys for the ignition. Naturally sync Gen 4 and over-the-air updates as well. There's standard features that include a fixed glass roof with low E technology. There's a keyless entry pad, sequential rear turn signals, open sesame hands-free trunk, and an interesting one, E-latch with push button. There are no outside door strap handles. Naturally LED lighting and a fully waterproof drainable trunk. We call that the new term for the front trunk area. I'm going to get into some of this a little deeper in just a moment. Nice looking center stack, and you can tailor the drive experience according to your moods, what you like. Modes such as engage, which is balanced, fun to drive, and productive, with vehicle sounds to enhance the driving experience. Whisper is seamless, calm, and quiet mode. All driving-related sounds are deactivated. And then unbridled, particularly like if you're with a GT here, exhilarating drive and exciting acceleration with increased throttle response and more prevalent driving sounds. You can change the driving experience, including with what you see, hear, and feel. And this also includes characteristics of the steering, throttle response, acceleration and decel, all-wheel drive, stability control, efficiency, interior sound, cluster graphics, and ambient lighting. You can change all that to suit your preference. And you can also match that to key cycles and personal profiles through the center stack as well. 15.5-inch center stack display. You can see where you're really getting interactive, as the title says. Basically reduces the need for users to switch between menus or scroll through pages to find the things that they want. A digital assistant dash card system adds interactive functionality and personalization to your car as well. So you could talk about your navigation, your EV range status. You can put that at a single touch. As they describe it, it's a multitasker's utopia. And you can naturally tailor this to different user profiles depending on who's using the vehicle and how many drivers are with the vehicle. Here's the front trunk. This is waterproof and has a drain in it. It's fully sealed and gives you about 4.8 cubic feet of cargo volume. Phone as a key is a new thing, so pack as we call it. As a driver approaches the vehicle, it senses the authenticated Bluetooth device and the doors will automatically unlock. It also features walk-away locking, which is a first in a Ford vehicle. If the customer unlocks the vehicle door and then returns to their home for any reason, the door will lock again in about 3 seconds. There are no door handles on the Mach-E. It's with an E-latch system. What you're looking at here, there's a smooth side. You press a button on the vehicle pillar and the door pops open about 1.5 inches. They can use the small handle above the belt line to pull the door open from there. And there's a light on the door applique indicates whether the Mach-E is locked, red, or unlocked is green. Okay, let me skip out of here real quick. Give me just a second. I'm going to transfer between presentations here.
No problem, Jerry. Got some great features on the Mach-E. That's for sure.
It's an exciting vehicle. I'll tell you, there's some neat things about it here. I'm trying to exit out of this. Is it still sharing my screen?
No, you're
There it goes. Okay, I got it.
Technology is great when you're presenting, isn't it? I love it myself.
Okay.
So quite a few new features on the Ford F-150 as well, from what we can see.
It's really it's a great vehicle. There are so many new things as you look at the features and everything. Under the skin, it's very similar from a structural standpoint. All the training and experience that the field has built up over the years on the F-150 and the Super Duty really are going to pay off when working with the 2021 model. So let me go ahead and move this over here real quick. And can you see my screen?
All right, we're waiting for it to come up here.
Bronco has been very anticipated.
There we go. We can see it now.
Good.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's
So
talk
I'd
about
like
the
to
Bronco.
introduce you to the Bronco. Yeah, it's exciting. We've got so many neat features. I have to admit, I mean, this has been a very, very exciting launch to be part of and to see how the reactions have been to it. I was on this vehicle very, very early. A little background on it. The lead design engineer was one of the people that I was working closely with on F-150. So he's very, very capable and knows serviceability well, especially from a body repair standpoint. This gentleman had actually served in the UK working with a Jaguar preferred shop. So he had quite a bit of experience as he was going through college to be an engineer. And looking at this, look at some of the model lineup. We've got the base model, the Big Bend, there's the Outer Banks model, and the Wild Track. Then you get into the Black Diamond, the Badlands, and then the First Edition. And these are the different preferred equipment packages for each of them. Quite a bit of neat stuff. Let's go to the next one. So you're looking at many great features, even in the base truck. This is a very nicely equipped vehicle. The EcoBoost 2.3 i4 with a 7-speed manual transmission. Standard 4x4 mobility. You can easily remove the roof and the doors. Going into the levels that you see above, off-road capability with more comfort and convenience. You go to 32-inch all-terrain tires, available heated seats, remote start, and 110 AC power outlet on the Big Bend. Next steps as you go up on the Black Diamond, you've got increased use of side rock rails, heavy-duty skid plates, the introduction of the Dana electronic locking rear diff, and then Outer Banks adds more style with functionality with 18-inch black painted aluminum wheels, LED headlamps, powder-coated tube steps, and you have a 10-speed automatic trans. Badlands increases the off-road capability even higher, where you add the front stabilizer bar disconnect. Anyone who's been mudding, goes rock crawling, will love features like this. You have a choice of 33-inch mud tires or 35 all-terrain tires, and you have a choice of vinyl or leather trim seating. Wild Track, this is for the desert runner. Off-road equipped with what's called the Sasquatch Package, 2.7-liter EcoBoost V6 with Bilstein positive sensitive shocks. Say that quick. Front and rear locking diffs and 35-inch tires. And then there's the First Edition, limited edition of 3,500 units, which includes a Sasquatch content and high clearance suspension. Really exciting vehicle here. This is going to be something really, really cool to see as all this comes out. Some of the colors, as you see, the colors that are available by the series, the Rapid Red Tinted Clear Coat, Velocity Blue, Shadow Black, Antimatter Blue. I won't bore you. As you see each of these, those are available in different packages. But what a lineup of colors. There's some really neat, and they look vintage too. The Cyber Orange looks a lot like my 69 Bronco that I had. There's 3 different grays along with iconic silver, but the Cactus Gray, Carbonized Gray, and Area 51, which is really, there's some neat stuff here. Let's go to the next one. So the mirrors are mounted on the body. They're actually mounted to the upper hinge pillar area, right at the base of the windshield opening. You've got the swing gate, remotes, the rear mounted spare tire. The fenders and the quarter panels may be easily removed for customization. You can easily remove the doors for off-roading. You've got bash plates, beadlock capable wheels, as we said, available 35-inch tires, LED lighting throughout, And then you've got tons of accessories, fender mounted tie downs, and then of course the ever-present rock rails on the side. Here's a good view and shows some of the neat flexibility of this design. You can see some different options as far as a removable top. Here's with the hardtop fully closed, all the windows closed. Here's with doors removed. Here's the front part of the top, like a Targa setup for just the front seat passengers. Same open to the rear, and then with the top completely removed.
Wow, Jerry, that's kind of reminiscent of you haven't seen removable doors on a lot of vehicles recently. So that's a unique design.
It really is. In between, sorry, go ahead.
And I'm sitting over here making my next shopping list.
Well, Tim, I'll be glad to help you get one. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's when you see the vehicle, you know, we went by the assembly plant, my two young sons and I, and they were just drooling. They're sitting there looking over this fence, looking at all these Broncos sitting there ready for shipment. And they were just like, I like that one. I want that one. You know, they're just pointing out. And as you see these, I mean, seeing them in person, they just have a really great presence. The way that it was styled, it is not just a throwback, but it's a real tribute to the originals, you know, from the 60s and early 70s. We always called the original Bronco the bobtail. It was always known as the bobtail. And, you know, as you get on in years, you look at things like this, and it's an exciting time. You can see this new front bumper assembly. There's the swing gate. It's got some beautiful wheel options, as you can see here too, as well. On up to 35-inch with a 17 by 8.5-inch wide wheel. These are available in these different editions as you see it, between the base, Big Ben, and all those other models. So outside tire diameter being 32 to 35, or 30 is the base one, excuse me, with a 16-inch. But I think you're going to see an awful lot of these done up with the higher packages, including the beadlock wheels, things like that. And naturally, there's going to be accessories galore. As you look at this, I would anticipate a tremendous number of available accessories and things you could personalize the truck even more. Look at the interior, just a beautiful setup. As they described it, no compromise and nothing extraneous. Natural colors with tough materials and marine grade vinyl seating if you want the basic stuff. Washout rubberized flooring so you can just clean up, don't have to worry about getting mud and everything inside. But of course, as you get into the Big Ben mid package, you got heated front seats. If you're out in the open in the winter time, look at the center stack with the touch screen. Really a comfortable vehicle. A lot of great features on the interior standard, and as you go up in equipment, it's going to be really, really cool. There's the drains for the interior washout. As I mentioned there, marine grade seating to resist mold and mildew, and then you've got these removable plugs, so you can easily just hose everything out. There's a Sync 4. There's going to be an 8-inch touchscreen, and then in the higher series, it goes to a 12-inch touchscreen for the high-end Lux series. Bang & Olufsen available sound system with the sub, and it's got 10 speakers that's included in the Lux package, so you can have some good tunes while you're doing your wheeling too. You can see the high-strength steel roof structure, and this is a first in the industry, which sets us apart from the Jeep Wrangler, which is the integrated side curtain airbags. So that's a very, very neat feature, this being a 5-door here, and it just shows you how the roll cage looks on it. Tough frame, starting with the powertrains first. We've got the 2.3 i4 EcoBoost, about 300 horsepower and 325 foot-pounds of torque. Jumping to the 2.7 EcoBoost V6 with 330 horsepower and over 415 foot-pounds of torque. The 2.7 gets standard from the Wild Track series and first edition as well. And then going on to the next here, I'll take you into some further details. We go here too on some of this. Low speed, there's a unique rock crawler gear ratio on the 7-speed transmission, which helps in low speed maneuvering for off-roading. And you're looking at the 10-speed, also has ensuring that you have the right ratio at the right time for on and off roads. So you're seeing quite a bit of flexibility in the powertrains here. Isn't that frame beautiful? Look how tough this thing is. Here's
is
the Dana Vantec axles. Isn't it? I mean, it's you look at this vehicle, I mean, they did just a beautiful job. And I'll take you into some of the serviceability of it, because that's quite exciting as we go into it.
That's absolutely my next question is you know, when they get those low gears going and they get them off road, how are we going to fix them when they tweak them a little bit?
Oh, you'll see. There's a lot of good stuff about this frame, which I'm going to cover into. Like the F-150, these are some of the connectivity features with the embedded modem, over-the-air updates, and forward pass. Again, the 360 camera, so you've got the camera all around the vehicle as you're wheeling, which is excellent. There's a cruise control function for low-speed trail driving. Helps you go into crawl mode, and you don't have to worry about two-pedal driving, as we describe it. Yeah, I mean, you can do all sorts of neat stuff here. One of the other things I'll cover too, the stabilizer bar disconnect is exciting. For articulation and heavy rock crawling, you can disconnect the sway bar electronically, and through the hero switch, it's a center pack above the touchscreen. It disconnects the stay bar when the speed is below 20 miles per hour, and there's an indicator to show you. So instead of getting out and having to pull the pins like on my older trucks, this does it automatically. I mean, it's pretty cool. And it will do that and turn on and disconnect when you select rock crawl mode drive on the drive control mode switch. And then here's the Sasquatch package. So you have beadlock capable wheels with the 35-inch mud terrain tires, high clearance suspension with the Bilstein shocks and the fender flares. Go over anything which we term as GOAT, offers these different modes, 7 GOAT modes, and they vary according to model, depending on how the level of the truck is featured. And then here's off-road trail maps, which are content from Neotrek's Accuterra maps and Trails off-road trail guides and Funtrex trail guides. And you can also map your own routes if you want them and save them for future reference. And there's your bring your own device, so you could put your GoPro, phone, anything you want.
Wow, that's just amazing.
So let's talk about, isn't that cool? So let's talk about the body real quick. The as you look at it, we've got the fender apron upper brace. We're talking the front areas of the structure in HSLA 340 steel. The body is comprised of boron, dual phase, and high strain steels, and the roof panel reinforcements are HSLA and bake hardened steel. You've got bolted removable front fenders, and there's some body panels constructed of aluminum and bake hardened steel. So going in, take a look at this. Looks familiar to that F-150, doesn't it? You've got the apron tube concepts, which again, I mentioned that design engineer who had done a lot of work with the apron tube concepts on F-150 and later Super Duty. They brought this same technology to the Bronco. Again, these are made of HSLA 340 steel, and you've got the lower tie bar support made of the same. This allows for least invasive repair procedures as you're getting into replacement of the front structure should you get into a heavy hit on one of these. Here's a brief overview document showing some of the steels in the 3-door to the left and the 5-door to the right. The red naturally are getting into the boron families. And you can see the outer skin being the bake hardened steel. You can see here the removable quarter panels, which allow for the customization that we mentioned earlier. Note the roof rail tube is boron, the B pillar reinforcement and A pillar. As customary with most Ford vehicles, the AB ring is primarily boron steel, and then you get into dual phase and HSLA steels the further rearward you go in the structure. But you can see it's quite a tough little body as you look at the design of it. It's really an exciting vehicle. It was exciting being on this program. I remember seeing this truck as a clay and being very excited even then seeing it. So let's talk frame construction. So kind of looks like a scaled down F-150, doesn't it? Well, this is going to share with Ranger. As you're looking at, you've got the short stub repair kits, which is on this upper right. So just like F-150 and Ranger, you can do these front short stubs. These are our best-selling sections and highly recommended if you have damage in the first several inches of the rail. Done at factory joints as customary with many of our kits. You also have the option of doing a complete front long section, which goes to a natural joint to the center section at the back here. Naturally, the front bumper brackets are available. We've got lower control arm brackets available and other numerous, including the front cross member as well. So you've got the availability of a lot of parts for this vehicle to repair the frame. I like to say we're one of the best in class. I can't say that with full authority, but I think from feedback from the field, insurance companies, and body shops, we're doing the right thing by offering as much as we can to repair our vehicles. But as you look at this definitely backs that up. Going on to the rear section, you've got the long rear frame section kit. For many of the hits, you've got the rear cross member, and this is where the trailer hitch is bolted to. And then you've got the panhard bar mounting bracket, as well as other like rear lower control arm brackets. There's all sorts of things available to repair the frame. And again, pretty straightforward repair procedures, very, very simple in concept. An adorable frame, one that's meant to take it, that's for sure. Look how simple the rear trailer hitch is. 4 bolts and it's off of the rear cross member. Note the strong tie downs at the horns of the frame in the rear. Very tough, fully boxed. And as you go into the design of the frame, you'll be amazed as you look underneath this truck. I mean, essentially, it's like a scaled down F-150. So with that, that's the end of my presentations. I can stop sharing if you want, Tim. Let me see.
Well, I'm really impressed with the procedures that you were able to put together, and we made sure when we were putting the data on our end together for the universal fixturing and for the touch measuring system that we took into consideration what you were doing on the service side to make sure that there was enough data there to be able to cover that vehicle.
Yeah, it's very, very important. I manage what's called the Ford Paint and Body Technology Center. And Tim has been a part of that with Spinisi for many, many years. We value and welcome all the friendship and work that we've done together. Tim and I have been in some interesting spots together, pulling on wrecked vehicles, and we literally put these things through the test. And he's smiling. I can see him grinning as some of the past stories that we've had on this. But
we broke a few things along the way.
We've broken some stuff. Yeah, it's actually been a lot of fun and a pleasure to work with you, Tim, on all this. I'll tell you, the thing that I really like and what we try to strive to at Ford is to work with vendors like you and experts that see these vehicles every day and some of the headaches that technicians have to go through. I kind of have an unofficial saying, by technicians for technicians. I consider myself a technician first, an engineer second. And the reason being is we have to try to give that voice of the technician to the engineers. When you look at something like Bronco and F-150, and what's really exciting is some of the engineering teams that I've worked with, a number of people have been technicians, have worked with frame machines and have pulled on damaged vehicles and done aluminum repair. And that is very, very valuable to me as I'm trying to enunciate what a tech has to go through every day. But I will say that I think the Bronco, I think Mach-E, all these vehicles are going to be very, very well received. What's the future hold? We're looking at so many different hybrid type of structures. You're looking at very, very dynamic things coming. And the better trained, the better equipped you are, the more educated, and the ability to research the repair is going to be ever more critical. I'll get on my soapbox for just a moment on a subject that's very near and dear to me. As you look at aluminum vehicles, and some of you may have heard me say this before, but the industry is starting to get flooded with aftermarket rivets. And one of the things that we've talked about, I know a lot of times we talked about in New Jersey, me, you, and Eric, and Carl, Tim, is the aftermarket rivets do not offer near the capability, the strength, the proper fit, the proper crush of the Ford OEM rivets. So if you're working with any of our aluminum vehicles, in particular the F-150, the Super Duty, the Expedition, the Navigator, as you're working with self-piercing rivets, make sure that you demand and only buy the Ford Henrob branded rivets. The reason being is rivets are such a science now. We have over 66 different rivets that build the F-150 as an example. And for someone to come along and say that they're one size fits all aluminum rivet, it just doesn't work. We would never do a cold weld as welders. We would never want to run a bad spot weld if we're doing a repair. And I definitely I can't stress it enough, do not put yourself and your business at risk with anything inferior in this area. I did put out a rivet position statement. I was bothered when I saw a couple vendors still carrying these rivets. And I think as you look at it, we try to return that vehicle back to pre-accident shape as technicians. That's the reason we offer you the wide extent of sectioning options. We offer the possibility of doing sections and repairs to the structure you never had before. When the F-150 was steel, as an example, you could never section the DP780 roof rail tube, the roof rail tube that went on top of the doors and joined the B pillar and the A pillar. With the aluminum truck, you can. But the beauty of that is that we went from a best-in-the-class vehicle from an insurance standpoint to maintaining that leadership with the aluminum vehicles, which I think is really something that says for our partnership with teams like yours. Going back to it, I think the key thing to remember when any of you are estimating any of our vehicles, please bear in mind there are so many different things that are available to you to repair frames, to do sectioning options, to go in and have serviceable bracketry. For instance, the lower control arm brackets on the F-150 and Super Duty, the Bronco's rear cross member and front cross member. On the Ranger, one of the things that used to total the old Ranger out, the previous pass model in the 2000s, was the problem with the front cross member. We never had those available. They were so integrated, they were hard to repair. So we've got that offered now on the current vehicles. And I guess I want to stress to you is that look at what we have available to you. Look at our workshop manual information. And above all, look at your frame information as well. We have so many different things available to help you save that vehicle, and above all, return the customer back a vehicle in the same shape pre-accident. So I will take any questions if anybody's got any questions for me. I don't know if the format's good for that, Tim, or not, but
yeah, we have a chat.
If you have any
we have
questions,
a chat
I'll be
box
happy
open.
to.
We have
Okay.
a chat box open, so we'll see what comes in. There is a comment in the chat box that they like how there's so many serviceable parts, which is good.
Good.
I have to say, Jerry, I've done some testing here with riveting also, and you have a part number for those rivets for a reason, because you know that they're going to work and they're going to put the vehicle back to be safe. Not just look like it's a good repair, but make it a good quality repair for the safety of the customer of the vehicle and everyone around it. So I have to commend you on what you've been able to do with the Peyton Body Technical Center there in Michigan. And you're right, we have spent a lot of time behind the scenes working on different techniques and procedures to be able to make sure it's real world.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I think the thing about it, and one of the things I love to say is the day you say, you know what, I'll get the heck out. And you're learning every day in this job. Work for me is fun because you're constantly learning. There's always something you wouldn't even expect, and you hear it and you're just like, wow, that's amazing. But when I saw some of the things that's out there, and then there's some industry experts, one of them claim that you could section our extruded rocker reinforcement. And this is someone of some note. People look up to this guy, and I'm like, stop, do not say that about my truck. I mean, I take it personally because we put out procedures, we put out guidelines and position statements to help the educated, trained technician repair that vehicle properly. And as you look at some of these people spouting off, for instance, a guy was doing a procedure on YouTube, doing the pickup box side, and he was going through so many liberties and doing it wrong. That I said, look, I said, you seem like a nice fellow. You got a nice family with you here. We were talking at a trade show, and I said, you want to take that video off because God forbid something happens, somebody gets hurt, something goes wrong. You don't want a situation where they're fingering you and saying, I followed his procedure. So I think the key thing that we look at with the Ford vehicles is that we have, and you've met them, Tim, a number of them, some very tough people. And I say that not lightly. Some of the people that you and I have worked with, as an example, they are very, very stringent in what they will allow us to do from the service side. And I think that is some of the manner for the success of these aluminum vehicles. But in particular, too, they also can see that we have to repair them. And we wanted to make sure that all of these can be repaired in the field by an average technician, a trained technician, but someone that understands and looks at the procedures. Going back to the rivets just for a second, if I could talk on my soapbox just for a second too. Not only is the rivet critical, but the mandrel that drives that rivet is critical. And the reason for that is because as the metal is shaped by the rivet going in, as it pierces into the metal, the worry is if you overstress the metal by setting the rivet too deep, you run into the risk of cracking it, and that can fail at a bad moment. The other side would be if you underset the rivet, if it's not splayed correctly. And that's why when you're looking at the diagram of the truck, be it whatever assembly, if you're doing a body opening panel, you want to follow that rivet pattern exactly. We also offer, and where possible, we offer repairs that give you the best in doing a repair the simplest, fastest way. For instance, on FordCrashParts.com, we did a video for the pickup box side, which has been a source of a lot of voodoo over the years. There's been a lot of questions about that box side. And we clarified it. What we tried to do was we gave, here's how the procedures written in the book, and we're clarifying some of those procedures with that video. So I would stress to anybody watching the broadcast today, or your friends, or if you're a foreman at a shop or a manager of a shop, have your technicians go to FordCrashParts.com We have some free videos, some free information on there that is very, very dynamic. For instance, F-150 door skin. So many people have come up to me and said, oh, the door skin is so hard to do and blah, 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 blah. I met with a kid. I call him a kid. He's 30 years old. He's at a body shop in Ann Arbor, Michigan here. And he says, I do 3 of these skins every week, 3 to 5. And he wasn't kidding me. His boss said, yeah, he does. And I said, what is your trick? He says, I take my time. So, you look at, there's a lot of people who are saying they couldn't do it. They were trying to skin it really fast. But that video goes into some of that and helps the technician see some of the little tricks that they need as they go about their day. But again, FordCrashParts.com, and by all means, be sure to utilize the proper Ford workshop manuals. This is not a jab at any other supplier of workshop manuals, but we have found that information has been missing. Links to other important information has been broken. That's why we stress the use of the Ford manuals. I think if there's any other questions, I'll be happy to get them if you got any, Tim.
One just came in and they're talking about when you're doing those procedures on the frame of the Bronco, if you had recommendations on the electric welding to keep the heat low, and is this the case? So I'm sure the testing that you've done there, that's why you have certain equipment in your program.
Yes, we have the fact that a lot of the welders that are in our program, for instance, your lineup, has gone through a lot of review by our engineering team. But also, we look at the possibility that a lot of these welders are set up with different schedules to work with different materials and different thicknesses of those materials, and they have predetermined schedules within them. I really enjoy working with you guys on the welding technologies, in particular the aluminum when it came out, but also as you look at some of these high strength steels. And as we see everything that's in the Rotunda catalog, those are excellent choices, yours being one of them, to utilize and repair. And in repair, the frame can work with these materials of the frame. The workshop manual has guidelines, but given the fact that many of these welders are plug and play and have set schedules and everything, we kind of back off a little bit there. We leave that to the equipment vendor to state, okay, this material, this thickness, here's the acceptable range, here's the schedule, etc. But we try to be as simple as we can with that. But I will say it's been great having you guys in on the Rotunda side as well.
That's good. And then the next question came up, and I'll just answer that one real quickly. It says, does Spinisi offer an SBR that is approved by Ford Motor Company? And the answer to that would be yes. We have the right mandrels. We have a specialized Ford kit to be able to do it, and it's gone through the testing to make sure that it will work with the Ford rivets.
And I really like that you get rid of the sample rivets and don't ship them with the gun, because the last thing I want is a sample rivet being put on one of our vehicles. Boy, I've beat that one to death. I'm sorry. I just worry about my customer. When you look at rivets, I worry about that. And I've even gone to some of these vendors and saying, why do you carry this stuff? I mean, you could walk around any trade show and you'll see them. And you and I have, Tim, and Carl too. I just shake my head like, I've told you guys, you're running a risk here. As we look at different things that have happened in our industry over the last number of years, the John Eagle case as an example, the cost of doing it wrong is too great. I mean, don't risk your business, your reputation, and above all, the safety of your customer. A friend of mine who left Chrysler, Doug Craig, said it very, very well. Do not be prepared to make your customer a crash test dummy. I couldn't say it any better than that. That's why we have procedures. That's why you have recommended equipment. And that's why we have the parts available to you to do it right.
Well, and when you start to look at the procedures, that needs to happen up front before the vehicle is even put through repair planning, so that they can anticipate what they're going to need to do for parts and serviceability before they get into the repair. So it's really crucial that they're using your information to be able to facilitate what they're going to do on their shop floor.
You know, you opened up a good subject there, and I think I've got a couple minutes if you're good with it. When I'm
Sure.
looking at a structure that's being developed, I'm looking at, first of all, the materials within that structure. I'm looking at basic things that a technician is going to have to do. Do you have to pull major amounts of the hinge pillar apart to remove the apron tubes, as an example? One of the things that is an example of something I couldn't change is the Explorer rear frame rail. It's boron steel. And when you look at the way that that rail is architecture goes into the vehicle, I wanted to offer a sectioning option at the rear of it. However, if it was not possible being boron, I would never offer a section in boron. And I'm in a business case discussion with the chief engineer. You can imagine the meeting. And I'm trying to say, we need to have a replaceable rear section back here. And he said, that's going to be several dollars a vehicle. Can you write a business case for that? And I can't. You can say all you want, you can show insurance data, but you can't always win every argument. I try, and Tim, you've seen me in meetings with guys. I mean, I definitely try to impress upon them the importance of having flexibility of repairs and sectioning. But sometimes it gets down to cost, what the vehicle is going to do in a rear end heavy duty collision, what the crash testing is showing. For instance, one vehicle that I looked at, I really like when you have the B pillar underneath the A pillar tube. It gives me the ability to replace the B pillar reinforcement without taking the roof off the vehicle. You could cut a window in the side skin on F-150, you can do it that way. Well, on some vehicles, it has to go up and underneath the roof skin because they can't meet rollover crash testing without having that. So the first thing the crash safety engineer is going to say to me is, I want that customer to walk away from that crash. I'm not worried about what's easiest to repair. I want them protected. And I will tell you, that's the first thing on my mind too. I look at something like that, and while we try to make the argument, they come up with some very compelling reasons why they can't. Now, that said, many of our vehicles can be repaired that way. And we've done things with engineering requirements, with engineering review of a structure when they're designing it, saying, okay, if I don't have to have the B pillar going up underneath the roof skin, and I can stop it underneath the A pillar tube and make it easy to replace, if I can meet crash and timing and costs and everything else, then that's okay. But when we get in early enough into a program, I'll give you an example. I'm looking at a vehicle. I can't name it. The only thing I could tell you is it's battery electric. And how many times has somebody removed a battery from a BEV vehicle and there's been a stripped nut, a fastener, as you're pulling the fastener down, it strips, or there's corrosion on it, whatever. Well, what we've done on one of our current our vehicles coming up, not a current vehicle, but a future vehicle, is I've offered that we should put in a removable, easily replaced nut plate in the rocker. So if you get a damaged nut, you can simply unhook the nut plate, pull it out through the front or rear of the rocker, and then you can replace that nut without having to go in and section the inner rocker and stuff like that. One of the things I'll critique myself on F-150 that happens a lot, the rocker panel has the studs that mount for the running board, and a truck gets into an accident, many times the running board gets ripped off and it damages those studs on the inner rocker. To give you an example, we allow you to section that, but it would have been easier had we had an easier to repair system on that if it was possible. Getting in earlier, these are lessons that you learn. So we take some of those lessons learned and we apply them towards new vehicles coming. Naturally, you've got vehicles designed in Europe, in Asia. You've got vehicles designed here. We want to look at everything that we're trying to see globally, of course. But those are just a couple of quick ones for you. Any other questions?
Don't have anything that came in, but if anybody has any other questions, you can always send them on to us to my email, tmorgan @Spinisi-Americas with, don't forget the s.com. And I can forward them over to Jerry, and then we can get an answer back for you. I can say that working with you for a long period of time, long before you had your first aluminum vehicle. So I think I might have signed the first NDA on that one, but I've enjoyed working with your group. You're right when you're looking at engineering aspects, but also repairability. Because at the end of the day, there's a cost incurred there, and you have to always maintain the safety for the customer. And that's the same thing that the shop needs to do. They need to make sure that they're maintaining the safety for the customer. So I want to stress, make sure you're following the OEM guidelines on any repair. And if I've known Jerry for, I don't even want to say how many years, but we neither one of us was great when we started. He's always open to hear from shops through their network and be able to help solve problems or solve situations that may come up. So, Jerry, I want to thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know it's not easy with everything going on today when it comes to manufacturing and servicing your customers. Any last thoughts?
Just really, really glad and proud to work with you guys. And Tim, I have learned a tremendous amount from you over the years too. And as I look at my interaction with shops, I think that's the key thing, is that I really enjoy talking to you guys and learning from you and seeing what you have to deal with every day. Feel free to stop by, any of the upcoming trade shows, or if you see anything that comes your way as far as difficulty with a Ford vehicle. We are taking technical questions through Ask iCar. Scott Van Heel is a friend of mine as well. And if there's a technical question that can be answered easily, they can do it if it can be researched. But do try to research in the Ford manuals first. But I usually get involved if something cannot be answered through the usual channels, and then iCar will get a hold of me that way. But I want to thank you guys for having me, you and Carl, Tim, and it's been a pleasure. And I hope you guys find these vehicles exciting and good to work with. It's great to be part of your team, and thanks for being part of our facility as well.
Thank you. So everyone, remember, get the manuals, find it up front before you start a repair, so that you can make sure that you're taking care of your customer, the safety of your customer, and the safety of all the motoring public. So we're going to end this session now and remind you that we'll be back at 12:30 Central with Mr. Louis Sharp from Sharp's Auto Body to do a little business owner series of how he operates and things that he does, even on his consulting business side, when it comes to employees, when it comes to business operation. And thank you for joining us for the Spinisi Interactive Week. We're ready to rock and roll all week long.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, no problem.